Welcome back to BWO Daily, your source for news in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling from your boys at Busted Wide Open. My name is Nick Howell.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and we've got some disturbing news today, Nick, because apparently one of your boys from South Carolina went and stalked Sonya Deville. He went all the way down to Florida to actually try to kidnap her. And he got pretty close, too. That's the scariest thing. So a guy named Philip A. Thomas II, who is doing a great job of making Philip A. Thomas I really proud of him. He's 24 years old. He's been stalking Sonya online for years, following her on Twitter, retweeting her, defending her to online critics, saying to her that she's an inspiration. He's been following her for years, but for the last 8 months, he apparently has been planning to kidnap her. He's a former Applebee's crew member. I don't know what that has to do with anything, except that, be careful when you go to Applebee's.
He has a lot of flair.
Yes, exactly. Right. He's got a lot of Friday flair. Well, that's TGI Fridays. You know what I mean? Very similar. Sonya Deville was home, and this guy who found out her address got through her screen door, cut a hole in her screen door, got onto her porch, and watched her through the windows for a few hours until she went to bed, at which point he broke in through the sliding glass door. The alarm to her house went off. She saw him through a window, took off with a guest she had over, called the cops, who showed up, and he was still there when the cops got there and openly admitted, yes, I'm trying to kidnap her. Of course, it didn't help. I think he probably admitted to it because he had a knife, he had plastic zip ties, he had duct tape, he had mace. So, yeah, he was primed and ready to kidnap Sonya Deville. Now, this is, of course, assuming, like, if they ever got into a scuffle, that she couldn't whoop his ass. Because I saw a picture.
She would absolutely destroy this dude.
Yeah, he looks like what would happen if Hornswoggle drank the wrong potion in Alice in Wonderland. She'd wipe the floor with him. But that's not here or there. The fact of the matter is, this guy stalked her and entered her home with the intention of kidnapping her. And if he caught her unawares, I hate to think what would happen. Needless to say that she released a statement saying that she was understandably frightened, but thanked the police, the sheriff's department, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, for their response and their assistance. And she is safe and everyone's safe. So he has been charged with aggravated stalking, armed burglary of a dwelling, attempted armed kidnapping, and criminal mischief. He's being held without bail, and I don't see this dude getting out anytime soon.
No.
So that's good at least. But
the best case scenario for him was that Sonya didn't get her hands on him.
Yeah, that too. But at the end of the day, this points to a somewhat disturbing trend in pro wrestling. And actually, Jordan Grace brought this up as well, where she said this is why fans shouldn't have our home address. She's been outspoken before about, hey, please don't send things to my home address because I don't like knowing that you know where I live. Like, it's sweet, but it's also really, 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 really creepy.
Yeah.
Really freaking creepy. So knock that crap off. And that doesn't make them feel happy, like, oh, what a wonderful fan to send me their used underwear to be signed at my home address. Because if they know your home address, they know that something like this can happen, and that's just scary. So understandable
glad to hear
why
Sonya is okay.
So glad to hear she's okay. Glad that this wasn't a worse scenario, because obviously it very nearly was. So
also, maybe don't try to kidnap ex-MMA fighters. You know, well, if you're going to get into the business of kidnapping, that's on you. But man, imagine if this had been like Shayna Baszler and she had just straight up wrecked this dude, right?
Just broken his arm in 8 places.
Right, exactly. Just snap, snap, snap.
And then bit him on the back of the neck. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to make light of this situation at all, but there's got to be something off that people think that this was a good idea.
Yeah. Apparently, he's actually even tweeted at a online psychologist that he had no self-esteem and no self-confidence, and he needed to know if he really was worthwhile at all because of something he was going to do in the next few weeks. Apparently, referring to this, so guy has some issues. Also, someone with issues is a former NXT star who went over to AEW. According to Chris Jericho, there was a NXT quote reject that was over in AEW for a short period of time. that leaked the news that Eric Bischoff would be the surprise guest moderator for the debate between Jericho and Orange Cassidy. Jericho's on his Saturday Night Special social media stream, and he said, when we had the debate and Eric Bischoff was announced on Reddit, and we know who the spy is, by the way, we know he'll never effing be back in AEW. An NXT reject was a spy, so print that. And I was like, listen, we can announce this, or we can just not announce it, and don't worry about it and see, the people that know will know. Maybe they'll watch if they weren't going to. People that don't know, they'll still be surprised, and that's exactly what happened. So it worked out, but apparently someone who was from NXT, who was in the crowd, knew about it, spoiled it. They were actually on Reddit. Space Force 1 was the username of the person in question.
I've heard
here
that before.
Because they had been leaking AEW results since the Double or Nothing pay-per-view when the results of the Stadium Stampede match was posted online. This is all from Heel by Nature. They also said how many fans were in attendance. They talked about they spoiled Ricky Starks. They also spoiled some Fyter Fest Night 2 results. So the real question is, who is this? Who? There is speculation out there. Obviously, the most likely subjects would be either Tino Sabatelli or Cesar Bononi, both of whom were seen in the crowd around that time, both of whom could be considered NXT rejects, never really got too far in NXT, and neither have been seen since. So, one hopes for the best that it's not one of them, but all signs point to it being one of those two guys. So, just goes to show, spoiling stuff these days does not do good things for your career. It never did. But
and to Jericho, I mean, yeah, I still had a good time. Like, the whole thing wasn't ruined, right? Even though I knew it was going to be Bischoff, I had a blast.
Yeah.
And Eric knocked it out of the park, and he didn't over Bischoff it and allowed the guys to work.
That's perfect.
So, is it just
but
don't
he's
spoil
right.
stuff?
Jericho's right. Don't spoil stuff, but Jericho's also right. Like, if stuff gets spoiled, just plow on ahead. The people that find out about it online or might actually want to watch more. I don't think this was a situation where people are going to be like, Eric Bischoff, well, now I'm not watching. Meh. If they're looking for AEW spoilers, they're probably invested to begin with. So they're either going to watch or they're more likely to watch if they find out something like this. So I think Jericho's right. Yeah, it sucks to have the spoilers. The NXT, whoever did spoil it, whatever guy there, that's just good company policy to not have someone who's a leaker in case something comes along that you really don't want spoiled. But this is a situation where, okay, you got us, but bye, boy. And it worked out okay.
And no skin off the backs of, I mean, if it was Tino or Cesar, I mean, there's a reason they're not in NXT anymore as well. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
We are just saying. Nick, happy birthday yesterday. On Sunday, it was Big Cass's birthday. He turned 33. Cedric Alexander turned 31 years old. And today is Paige's 28th birthday. She's only 28.
People forget she debuted at 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And came out and beat AJ Lee for the Divas Championship.
First, yeah. And then was one of the major, founding factors of the women's division in NXT as well. From the time she was a baby. She was a baby. And now she's a mere 28 years old. And Nick, that is it. Happy birthday to Big Cass, Cedric Alexander, and Paige. And that is the news.
Well, thank you, Sir Ian Dangerous. Happy birthday to all of those fine folks. And thank you guys for tuning in for yet another episode of BWO Daily. Make sure you pound that big red subscribe button and set your notifications to all so you get notified every day when we put up a new episode. Also, get into the description down below this video. Make sure you get into our Discord community, as well as all of our social media links that you can find down in the description below. And lastly, we have moved over to Twitch now, and it has been glorious for the last couple of weeks. So make sure you're joining us live every Tuesday and Saturday over at twitch.tv/bustedwideopen. But my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
And we will see you guys next time.